All right, everyone. Well, welcome to our first Fireside Talk. This is a community learning event where we don't have like industry leaders. We're not interviewing like James Cameron or Christopher Nolan or Roger Deakins or Matt Marr or Matt Fradd. We're not bringing in like the best of the best. But what we're really wanting to try and do is learn as a community and grow together as a community. There is a quote that my one of my previous bosses loved to quote all the time. If you want to go fast, go it alone. If you want to go far, go it together. And that's what we're doing with these talks, is to really go together. We're not going to be able to give you, maybe we won't be able to give you like a whole dissertation on or a whole college level textbook on whatever we're talking about, but I think you're going to pick up a few things in each of these episodes where you're like, oh, I never thought of it that way before. That's a good perspective. Or, oh, there's a new technique that I never knew before. Maybe I can incorporate that. And then that way we all just really learn together, and we become a greater force for the development of Catholic Christian art, and become a better force for evangelizing in that area. So, right. Today we have Michael Snellen, who is our fearless leader. Thank you for joining. And I am my name is Aaron Kessler. I am the host today. I am a filmmaker, colorist, personal branding creator, and founder and driving force behind Seraphic Content. I go by the title Alchemist of Eventide. It's a very interesting little title there. So today, for our very first episode, we have with us Alejandro Rodriguez. Alejandro is a filmmaker, editor, screenwriter, just a all-around great, very cordial, very caring person. Very happy to have him today with us. So Alejandro, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And yeah.
Aaron, thank you so much for that amazing introduction where you made sure everybody knew that I was nowhere near close as the best of the best at all. So I'm just yanking your chain a little bit. But
I just like to be realistic. It's nothing personal. It's not just you. It's every guest. Like, if I was to introduce myself, I would say, like, I'm not Walter Volpetto, but I picked up a few things along the way in my journey. I can still teach you something that you've already learned. So, and there may be some people in the group who really are quite experts, but I'm trying to avoid it. I'm trying to avoid it's the situation where somebody's like, oh well, I'm just like dopamine hunting for expertise on YouTube, and this is about community as much as it is expertise.
Yeah, I'm only yanking your chain. I hope you know that. I'm not.
You're right. It was a little weird of me, but I'm kind of a cover all bases person.
Yeah, I'm being facetious for the most part. But yeah, so I'm Alejandro Rodriguez. I am a screenwriter and a filmmaker. I've done directing. I've directed on my own many documentaries that I worked on. I also edited and produced them myself. I'm the youngest of four children. I grew up in a very strict traditional household. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I always tell people I'm glad my parents spanked me, especially especially with our where we live. I live in California. It's awful out here. And I both Aaron frequently likes to remind me off camera how bad it is and how much better Nebraska is. But I'm thankful to be Catholic. I always tell people before I'm a filmmaker, I'm Catholic first. My faith informs everything I do. And if you're a Christian of any stripe, creed, and denomination, whatever you want to call it, I mean, your faith has to come before anything that you do. Like your faith has to precede how you treat others, how you act around others, how you carry yourself. If you're joining this business thinking that you're going to change it, uh, you're on your own basically, because it's a really tough business to be a part of. I've learned that the hard way, and probably one of the follow-up questions I'll share one of my personal experiences with working with Hollywood, and but let me just say that one thing you need to know about me is I love being Catholic. That's all I am. That's who I am. It's not a changing thing. It's an immutable reality about me.
Excellent, excellent. Couldn't agree more. I did
Mm.
not know you had an encounter with Hollywood, so now I know why you were upset when I said, "Well, we're not experts here."
No, I'll tell you more about that, but I was
Okay,
only teasing you. I know you
okay,
meant that.
sounds good. We're not going to let that die.
No, I'm teasing you.
Hmm,
That was unintentionally hilarious on your part.
so classic me, wasn't it?
It
All
was.
right. So you live in the land of Mordor. I mean California. Uh, okay. So do you have any hobbies outside of film and video?
I'm a singer. I'm a musician. If you can't tell, I'm very I'm proud of my humility, as my spiritual director likes to say. I uh, I I love working with people. I'm studying mental health counseling on the side. I don't know how many people know about Conrad Bars. He was a Catholic Thomistic psychiatrist. Very
Hmm.
beautiful man. Changed my life forever. Um, I have what I call a spiritual committee that comprises of my local parish priest, a dear friend of mine who recently converted to the faith, uh, my best friend, John Paul, and who else? I'm trying to think. Brother Andrew Kosmowski, uh, as Michael knows who he is. He's a scholar and a gentleman, very amazing man. Uh,
That's correct.
I say, yeah, it's I would say that I'm blessed with many gifts and talents. I love to serve on Sundays. I'm also a volunteer with the Knights of Columbus, a fourth degree knight. It's
Oh wow, I did not know that.
I yeah, I mean there's a lot of things. I mean like the faith has informed everything I'm doing, not to pat myself too hard in the back. Um I really want to join a third order someday, like any third order. Um as my spiritual director likes to say, like every order except for the Franciscans are basically Augustinians. But
Hmm.
it's I think it's necessary to have some form of spiritual discipline. You have to learn how to pray every day on a regular basis and give thanks to God even for the sufferings you receive, because that we receive from Him is a gift. So, does that answer your question? Is there anything else?
No, that's a very good answer. Very thorough.
Thank you.
All right. Um, so let's talk about what it is you do. Can
Okay.
you describe your profession? Like what is a day in what is a day in the life of an editor? What is a day in the life of a director? What's a day in the life of a screenwriter look like? And how do you approach living that?
Okay. Well, you asked three different questions just in one question. So let me see if how I can approach it. So as an editor, well, here's what you do. You have to wait for at least 2 hours for 60 gigabytes of footage to get sent over to you over the internet. And then uh, The remaining hours is to try to like assemble a jigsaw puzzle without any instructions. So that's that's basically what editing is. If you have a good director, they'll tell you, okay, so we earmarked these footage clips to go here, and this is how it should be assembled, and they'll tell you how it is, and then once you put it together on picture lock, then you send it to them, and then they say, okay, well, could you adjust this a couple of seconds back? And it's a little tedious from time to time, but it honestly, editing is my favorite part of the production, the favorite part of the entire process, mostly because when you're directing, you're just like trying to assemble the pieces together, but editing is actually seeing it come together and see it come as a coherent whole. And that's my favorite part because you finally see that the fruits of your efforts finally completed, finally come to their complete amount of I'm trying to think of the word. It's you're trying to see the completion of all of your hard work is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it really
So
is rewarding at the very end when you
it
just
is.
like after all that. I love your description of it as a jigsaw puzzle without instructions. You just dump all the pieces out, and maybe without even like you say instructions. I think without like a reference picture.
Sure.
I would go even that far. But then again, I'm
Yeah.
probably not as good of an editor as you are. So
You sell yourself short, Aaron.
okay,
I've seen your work, and I love it. It's great. Um,
appreciate it.
yeah, but as a director, it's a whole different ball game because you have to make sure everybody knows what they're doing, and
Mhm.
that's exhausting. It's extremely exhausting. I could tell you. Actually, could I tell you about my Hollywood experience in my
Yes.
answer about what I did? Okay, so leading up to the directing. So here's the thing. I have a full-time job because it's the world we live in, and obviously in California, the economy's not getting any better. So I do have a day job. So to be a part-time director, on top of all that, is extremely exhausting. You have to plan out the locations in advance. You have to visit the locations. You have to take pictures. You have to storyboard. You have to meet with your first assistant director. You have to meet with your cinematographer. You have to make sure that everybody's on the same page and make sure all the call sheets are sent out. The actors are know when to arrive on set. You have to make sure that catering is already provided. And this is all executive producer work that you should be doing, but this is also director work because you have to make sure that everybody's taken care of.
Mhm.
And something I've learned how to do as a customer service rep is to make sure everybody gets what they want by the end of the day. And like communication is of the utmost importance. So with this Hollywood executive producer, I didn't realize how big time he was. And then he brought his friends on set who are actors, none of which are Catholic, by the way. And that was great because not a lot of planning went into it. We were just filming a short film trailer. And what ended up happening was after the end of it, I was called an amateur. I was kind of very politely, passive aggressively told that I had no idea what I was doing. And that was something else, I have to tell you. I mean, not just because like my ego was bruised and I thought, oh, I'm a professional. No, that's not the case. It was just like, yeah, well, I will take responsibility for not communicating properly. I will take responsibility to um for my part for the things that I could have done better. But at the same time, it's like, well, what did you expect? I mean, this was a zero budget production. I spent $1,000 of my own money into this thing, and instead of accepting and having some compassion for me, this Hollywood person was like, "Well, then why did you even make this film?" Which is, and you're going to run into that a lot, no matter what profession you're a part of. People are going to demean you. People are going to make you feel lesser because they don't think you deserve any say because they're the ones with the experience and they're the ones who think they know better. I mean, and we forget that it's a hard thing to do when you're just starting out. And so I would like to add on to, like, if there's anything you take away from my speech, is like not only just being good Catholics, but you also have to have compassion for every person, no matter who they are, no matter what creed they are a part of. If you have any follow up, Aaron, go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're very sorry that the experience
Thank you.
happened with you.
Yeah.
It's so important. I've heard this said many times in the directorial world, is it's so important to find the right team. And sometimes you have to have a little bit of trial and error before you can find the right people to work with. But once you find them, it just works.
Yes. Let me tell you something. You guys can still see me, right? I'm sorry, I had to move my
Yes.
phone. I really learned who my real friends are after that experience. And like I said, like on my spiritual committee, I have my best friend John Paul. I've worked with him for 2 years. He is the kindest soul that I probably have ever met and probably ever will ever meet. Um, and even you, Aaron, like I consider you one of my best friends because like you know how hard this business is. I mean, you've worked in it for 11 years, and people still criticize us for the work that we do, and they're all.
And we lost you there, Alejandro. Still gone.
Some small technical difficulties.
Yes. Alejandro, if you can hear me, I'm going to go ahead and take you off the call, and then go ahead and try and come back in. Maybe that'll fix the issue. Oh, he left.
There we go. Yeah, let's remind everyone, I guess, to pray for our internets. Pray for our connection works.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, while we're waiting for Alejandro to come back, why don't you tell us, Michael, you know Alejandro as well. Maybe share the story of how you guys first met.
Yeah, well, it's quite amazing that I think like us three are coming together really to talk and host this, just considering we're like at different parts of America. You're in the mid, say, west. Alejandro's in the very far west, and I'm all the way in Kentucky. So even have an accent change, and maybe you guys can't understand me as well. You don't speak the Kentuckian language,
Yeah,
but
you're fine.
yeah, like you can't really think of something like that happening or being able to occur as easily 100 years ago or maybe 1,000 years ago. It was almost impossible, like for people to network and start to collaborate and kind of just share their experiences so directly, which I think this is doing very well. It's been very good so far. And so I think that's really what our unique mission is with Christian creators, to be able to connect people like us and from other disciplines too, not just video making, from all across the world, so that they're able to collaborate, able to share their ideas, able to have like some formation. Eventually we might start having like classes here or courses and whatnot. That way people can learn from other creators. I think it's so important that during a time like this, when there's just so much information out there, there's very little information actually about how to be, say, good at what you do while still keeping in kind of the Catholic worldview.
Right.
Hi everyone. I'm so sorry. My phone
Hello.
overheated.
All is well.
Oh, that is not cool. In more ways than one.
No, it is cool. I mean, my phone is not cool. Hello, can you hear me?
Both. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Hi.
can hear you. All right.
Where were we? Sorry.
I honestly don't remember. Do you remember, Michael?
Yeah, you had said. Well, I was saying you guys were my friends. Like, yeah,
Oh
like,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
yeah. So that's more praise for y'all. That's great. That's great for your humility. Yes. No, but in all honesty, I do consider you guys my one of my friends, my best friends, because it's true. Like, I think it was Saint Thomas Aquinas who said that affability was a virtue for a reason, and
Hmm.
um, and the real reason why is because we're supposed to edify each other. We're not supposed to tear each other down. And you have to
Yes.
remember too that people in Hollywood, they're just in it for themselves. No matter who they are, no matter what role they're in, they're just in it because they want to be number one.
Yeah.
And it's a hard reality in many ways, because I think that because we're Catholics, because it's so clear to us that we have to live the Christian lifestyle before we live any other lifestyle, it hurts us, because like there are people who are out to get us. And there's people who want to destroy innocence, purity, virtue, because it's something that's so contradictory to their vicious lifestyle.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
sometimes, not to be a negative Nelly, but I think sometimes we run into a little bit of that even in the Catholic world, where people are just trying to, it's all about their career. And
Right.
it's very easy to fall into because it's a hard path. And if you're going to try
Right.
and make a career out of it, you kind of have to be all in and all focused on your career. It's
Right.
at least it can kind of feel that way sometimes. So
Yeah.
I it's understandable people fall into it, but it's such a toxic mindset, and it doesn't help us build up a community of
Yeah.
filmmakers, of creators, like we're trying to do here. So so
Right.
definitely.
Yeah. And here's another thing too for younger people. Nobody needs to be your friend. Not everybody needs to be your friend. If you must make friends, be very selective about the people you choose to work with. I've known Aaron for a good while now. On Fabiola, we work together. We've talked to each other. We're friends before we're filmmakers too. Catholics before we're filmmakers. Friends before we're filmmakers. You need to know who you're dealing with going into this, because it's going to be extremely difficult when you find out that the people that you thought you knew, um, you don't know them at all, and you've got to properly vet them. You've got to work with them on other projects um, before you commit to something that's major, like a feature film production. Because when you're going to get a rude awakening, you're going to see people's true colors, um, once stress starts piling on and
Yeah.
things start hitting the fan. It's gonna A lot of things are gonna go wrong, and then you really see who people really are when they're upset, when they're angry. And like, you need to also learn how to say the words "I'm sorry" a lot. "I'm very
Yeah.
sorry." You have to say those words a lot, because like, yeah, there's things that you got to have humility, even if it's not always your fault. You have to apologize for things not working out, apologize for things not going the way you hoped they would, and for things falling through. You have to be willing to be humble and accept your part wherever that is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have any, or what would you say would be the most important piece of advice you can give someone who wants to
Wow.
do the
I
same kind of
Yeah.
directorial or editing or even screenwriting? We haven't talked a lot about screenwriting. Uh, maybe
Okay.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe
Did
the
you want me
most
to
important
answer?
piece of advice for just for anything that covers across those three.
Okay. Did you want me to address the screenwriting thing before we get into the first part of your question, or?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, a day in the life of the screenwriter is you just screaming at your laptop, asking why. Why? Why can't I write something? And like, and it's weird because like my first film, my feature film that I wrote, Lonely People, it was part of a screenwriting seminar. Then once I started Act Three, well, before I started Act Three, it was just hitting my head against the wall, like, puh, puh, puh. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Do I still want to do this kind of thing? And it's 130 pages of work, and it was a lot of hard labor went into it. But before Act 3, it was just really difficult to complete. But then once Act 3 hit, I knew exactly how I wanted the story to end. I knew exactly how I wanted all the characters to be resolved. So writing the rest of it was a breeze. You know? So I would say that, you know, you be willing to be frustrated. Be willing to be angry that things are not working out, but then keep moving. So don't stop moving when you start writing.
Mm.
Because like once you stop moving, then it will never be finished. And that I've learned the hard way. I mean, you have to see things all the way through. I think it was St. Francis de Sales. By the way, I'm writing a biopic on his life, by the way. And St. Francis de Sales, he said that the enemy doesn't care what projects you're doing as long as none of them are completed. And I've taken that to heart in so many ways. Because like think about all the things that you started writing that never got finished. Or things that you started producing that never saw the light of day. Or, I mean, those are things that people could benefit from. Those are things that people could learn from. And if you don't complete them, then who will? If you don't do it, then who will? Like St. Thomas Aquinas was lucky enough to complete most of the Summa and have a friend complete it for him after his death. But what about like the other things that could have helped other people? I mean, you have to be willing to see things through.
Absolutely. That's such good advice because
Yeah.
sometimes it seems like the more you write, the easier it is to write.
Yeah.
It's like a train. You know, it takes a while to
Right.
get started, but once it's going, it's hard to stop. So would you
Yeah.
say you're a would you say you're a plotter or a panter?
A who now?
Plotter or a panter? That is
A
the
water or a
plotter. So
I'm still trying to
that's a categorization in the writing world. So there's two different kinds of writers. One kind of writer is a plotter. They like to plot everything out and structure everything and plan everything before they actually write. The other person is a panter who flies by the seat of their pants and doesn't do any prep work and just like starts writing.
Well, I'm saying I'm a panter in terms of my directing style. I'm more of a water when it comes to my writing because like I know people say act 1, act 3, act 2, act 3 kind of thing. I'm not as structured as that, but like I look at Wikipedia plots like all the time because you know some movies aren't just worth watching. But I kind of like write my own stories that way. I write like, okay, how do I want this to end? How would I? And you know, then I figure out how I want the writing. And sometimes I even imagine scenes that are in a certain movie before I even get there. So I write down the dialogue like right away so I don't forget it later. And then I incorporate as much of that realistically into the story. Like one thing that came to me that I thought was a great line for one of the characters in my story, Lonely People, was it's easy to be in love with somebody, but it's hard to be in a relationship with them. That's that's a stellar line if you're ever become a writer, or if anybody out there is going to become a writer. That's a stellar line, and it's like, yeah, because it's true, right? I mean, it's a universal truth. It's easy to love somebody. It's easy to care about somebody. It's easy to, but it's hard to maintain a relationship with them because you know you're going to have struggles. And I've learned that the hard way, not only in my personal relationships but also my professional relationship. It's really hard to work with people sometimes.
Yeah.
Not, I don't mean that in a bad way or anything about people, but in general. But it is. We're prone to human errors, and we're going to always make mistakes. And so when I wrote that line, I was like, okay, I got to put that in my pocket and save it for later. And y'all who are out there, you got to write, you got to keep yourself accountable for like the projects you're working on. You have to complete your project, but you also have to chase down those moments of inspiration. It was like, okay, if I miss it, then it's going to be gone. I have to keep myself accountable because I'm a sanguine and I'm prone to inconstancy. I'm prone to forgetting things as soon as I think of them. I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. I should write that down. No, I'll remember it later, and then you forget all about it. That's I do that all the time. You should, but you should. Anybody who's out there listening to this should, hold themselves accountable. Be your own best friend, I would like to say.
Absolutely. Accountability is so important. I think it's kind of an
Right.
under appreciated form of creativity. It's not as glamorous as they make a new work. Well, what is the saying? The saying is, what is it? Great endeavors are 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So
Yeah.
it's that perspiration, that dedication to see it through, that
Yeah.
really is what brings it to life. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I mean, if you're naturally a creative person, it's really easy to just like be washing dishes one day and, oh, there's a cool idea. Well, the cool ideas are great, but there's no point to a cool idea if you don't put in the time to execute on it. And
Yeah. No, and let me tell you something else, Aaron. The reason why that producer's comment about me stung so much was because of the fact that I put my own hard-earned money into that. So $1,000 is at least 2 weeks of pay that
Mhm.
I had put into that. And then before the production started, I had a meeting with him and my other friend who was a producer. She's not Hollywood, but she's an indie producer like me. And when we all promised each other that we would not have hard feelings, and we would not let our feelings dictate what we say. I mean, if we have a problem, we take each other aside and we talk about it. I made sure that they knew that. So then um when he went and called me an amateur, that really hurt because we had already had this conversation already, and for him to say that was like he did totally disregarded my perspective. And that's why I say, like, everybody know who you're dealing with, and also, like, it is hard work to vet people, to know exactly who you're dealing with, because if you don't do that, then you're going to set yourself up for a lot of grief later. I've learned that the hard way, so please heed
Yeah.
my advice. Please heed my advice on any production. And also, the reason why things fell apart on the shoot was because I didn't do my own due diligence. Not just on the vetting, but on the location scouting, on the storyboarding, on the things like that basically pre-production requires. But you don't have to do all that if you're just doing a fun little shoot. But it's highly recommended for any shoot that you do work on, because you have to treat every single production as if it's going to be seen by everyone in the world. And it's hard to think about that, even if it doesn't even see the light of day. I mean, you got to take pride in everything you do, even the things that you really don't want to do. It's really hard. It's a hard lesson to learn. I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah. Absolutely. I learned it the hard way as well on my feature film Plans of Trust.
Oh, yeah.
I was very grateful for the volunteer cast and crew, but as I started the film, I started noticing different frictions in the ensemble that I didn't
Sure.
have the foresight to account for.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Can you
no, but
talk a little bit more about? Well, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, because I've seen that film. I think it was beautifully shot, and I thought that the story was there. It's just I think that the biggest thing though is like because we're in it, we can't like see the solutions to the problem. But I actually loved it. I thought that the story was there. I thought it was a really interesting, and I tried to do what I could with the editing on my part. But I wouldn't be so discouraged. I'm really glad that you saw it all the way through as much as you could.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very much a growing project. Yeah, I think of it as my film school.
Yeah, you should see it like that. But what were you going to ask? Sorry.
Yeah, no. Can you talk a little more about how your faith influences your work?
Well, I am extremely delicate with people's feelings, and I'm very sensitive to what people need. And that's part of like growing up. I have scrupulosity. I still struggle with it in some ways, and that's only because I don't want to offend God in any way, shape, or form. And I think a lot of people don't really know that. A lot of people aren't used to that, and especially in Hollywood, people don't care about other people's feelings. So for me to be who I am is I'm an enigma. I'm a problem, so to speak, for other people to solve. I'm not professional in the sense that I don't treat people without empathy. Like, and some people think that in order to be a professional, you can't have any personal feelings involved. That's not entirely true. Your feelings are always going to be involved. And like, I always tell people, I don't care if we don't get the footage. I care if everybody's comfortable. I care that everybody's contributing. But like the behavior that I received showed me that people were ungrateful for that. So my faith comes first. I treat people with charity and respect. That's paramount to me because what did our Lord teach? The golden rule: treat others the way you wish yourself to be treated. I take that extremely seriously. And, when people are ungrateful and disregarding of that, it hurts. I mean, yeah, I took accountability for the things I did wrong. And, anybody who's out there listening, you got to take accountability, no matter what it is. No matter if you made a promise to yourself that you didn't keep, no matter if you made a promise to the cast that you didn't keep, no matter if anybody on the crew or anybody you're working with, you got to take accountability for your part, no matter how big, no matter how small. And, you know, part of being a faithful Catholic also means treating everybody with the utmost respect. I mean, part of being a Christian means to love others as Christ loved you. And I think that we often forget that. We also think like, you know, people are not treating me the way I want to be treated, so why should I treat them? I was like, that's not how it works. I mean, Mother Teresa herself said, it was never between you and them. It was between you and God. So be kind anyway. Be generous anyways. I mean, that's just what you have to do. That's how my faith determines how I interact with everybody. I work as a commercial driver. I worked as a customer service rep. People don't like when they're not being listened to. People don't like when they're not heard. And you have to respect people that way. I don't care who they are. I don't care if you like the person or not. I mean, the reason why I have friends that I can count on is because we trust each other completely. That's how my faith determines my work. That's how my faith determines my life.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
So beautiful to see that.
I appreciate that. I mean, Aaron, like I'm being 100% sincere with you. I like in every one of our interactions, both on camera, off camera, I will go say that you're one of my best friends because like I trust you. I think that you really are out for my best interest. A lot of people don't care about me. A lot of people at work don't care. So like guys, if you're out there listening, you got to find people, your people. You got to go out and look for them. And you've got to ask God, where are my people at? Because I feel all by myself. I feel alone. And like the relationship that I have with Aaron, the relationship I have with John Paul are one in a million, but it's God who makes things possible. So you have to find your people, and you have to work with people, and you have to be patient, and you have to forgive people for any failings on their part or your part. You got to learn how to trust God, because he's the one who's looking out for your best interest more than anybody else.
Amen. Amen. Well, we're coming up on the last 15 minutes here. I know you have to go soon. I have
Thank
one
you.
last question for you.
Sure.
Do you have one specific technique, whether it be directing, screenwriting, editing, that you can tell us about, that you can kind of give some insight into others who are trying to do any of those and really
Okay.
could use a boost? Do you have like a secret technique or something that you can that can really help someone?
Okay. Well, I would say be okay with mistakes overall.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if that's a technique in so much as a platitude, I suppose. It's just like, yeah, be okay with making mistakes. Listen, the movie you write is going to be different from the movie you direct, and the movie you direct is going to be very different from the movie you end up editing. And there's going to be a lot of happy accidents of like, oh, I like that take. Oh, I like this thing. Oh, I like this other thing. Oh, but wait, I think this one had better sound, or I think this one could be just scrapped altogether. So I would say, yeah, but just be prepared to make mistakes. And I think like the technique that I often use is like, for my directing technique, what I use is something called the Travis technique, which is not only a style of acting, but also a style of directing. And it helped me land a role in the film Fabiola, which is being released by Industrious Family, by the way. Just got to give a little plug there. But so what the Travis technique is, it's I'll share more about it like on the Mighty Network if I have to. And what it is like you talk to the character instead of the actor. You ask the actor, "Can I talk to this person, please?" And then they tell you their version of the character, and then you try to get the emotion. How did it make you feel when Dan made fun of your hair? It's like, well, it made me feel ashamed. Why did it make you feel ashamed? Well, because I worked hard on it. Well, why did you work hard on it? And then you just kind of like you build the character that way. And then as a director, like or as an actor, you can also like use that. It's just like, well, why am I reacting like this? And like sometimes you gotta like remove your own personal feelings, because the character's decisions are very different from your own, and you're acting, and you as a person make different decisions from the actor. It's like, well, I know he made a bad mistake going walking into the bar, or he should have watched where he was walking when he slipped and in that puddle, but you're not the character if you're thinking like the person. So yeah, so as a director, I use that technique where I talk to the characters instead of the actors. And if I have to talk to the actor, then I call them by their real name. Hey, Meredith, you're I think that we could have done that scene a little better. Can we reshoot it and stuff like that, for example. um so yeah, so that's kind of what I do on a practical level. But as a whole, I would just say be okay with making mistakes, and you'll never know, that mistake might actually be something amazing in post.
It's so true. It's so true. It's also true. In my own work, I found that sometimes you've shot everything on your list. And you're like, well, why don't we get this little shot? This shot is speaking to me. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It might not. We probably won't use it, but let's just get it anyway. And that ends up
Yeah.
being the shot that saves the project in post. Because you're in the editing room, you're like, oh man, we got everything on the list, but I just need something more, And
Yeah.
Come to the rescue, that shot. So
Okay, I got a good question from Michael. Did you want to read it out loud, Mike?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know if we could transition maybe into a quick question and answer, but yeah, just in what way do you feel called to change the world?
Okay, that's a good question. I got I I got a very short answer for you. I can't. I can't. I can't do anything. I'm just a moron that keeps making the same stupid mistakes over and over. I can't change the world, but God can. And God can use me however He wants. I mean, we're all dish rags for the Lord at the end of the day, but we're all very lovable dish rags, if I might say. But me especially. No, I'm just kidding. So, but it's true though. I mean, the ways that we can change the world on a more serious level, I think, is just by trusting in God, trusting that we ourselves cannot do anything with our foolish imperfections, our inclinations to sin.
Mhm.
We can't do anything. But if we trust completely that God's going to work in spite of our imperfections, in spite of the difficulties we come across, in spite of our struggles, then, we'll be much happier. And it's not entirely reliant on our own natural powers, right? I mean, because at the end of the day, we can't control other people. We can't control things that happen beyond our control. We can only be ourselves and be ourselves effectively, efficaciously. So I would say, in a more concise answer, be yourself. Be the version of you that only you can be. I'm Alejandro, and nobody else can be Alejandro like I can be Alejandro. And Michael Snelling can only be Michael Snelling. Look at how much Michael has done in the very short amount of time that he's had in this world. He's uniting people across nature. I wouldn't have been able to meet the Industrious family if it wasn't for this community. I wouldn't have been able to work with Aaron and then keep working with Aaron on other projects and like seeing the latest version of Heart Color if it wasn't for Michael connecting all of us. I mean, that's a gift. To be able to connect other people is a specific and special charism that the world needs today. In a world where division is so rampant and everybody's wrong and everybody's right and everybody needs to be right and everybody else is wrong, division is just destroying communities. So connecting to heal the broken bonds is a gift. And it's something that we can all strive to do. Be yourself. And the people who will appreciate you for who you are will find you. You have to be patient. It's going to take some time, but be yourself. And don't be ashamed to be yourself, because God didn't make you to be anyone else but you.
Absolutely.
I have to write that quote down somewhere. That's a good quote.
Yeah, I said a lot of quotable things. I hope you're writing this down.
We're recording it.
Making notes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm being facetious. I make self-deprecating humor, also self-praising humor. I'm just a guy from California. At the end of the day, but the thing I'm most proud of is being a Catholic, and God gifted me with being a Catholic. He gave me this gift of choosing me as one of His sons
Absolutely.
from birth and from baptism, and He united all of us. And Michael's a convert, and he's come into the church, and he's done so much in the little time that he has been in the church. And Aaron and I are both like cradle Catholics, but here we are.
Here we are. Thought that was a really beautiful thing you touched on. Really trying to build everybody up. It sounds simple to say, but it's hard to do. You get online communities, and everybody is just competing with each other and fighting over scraps. And they're really, at best, they just like tolerate each other. So there's not always a lot of like actual like building people up, share knowledge, work together, become friends. It's always like this like really guarded sort of like. So I really believe that there's a lot of potential here for Sacred Heart Christian creators to just really build up this warm yet strong community of online digital evangelists.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I mean, honestly, I'm really proud of what this community has become since we started. I think that, at first, you don't know what direction we're going until we're there, and then we start seeing the fruits of it. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're just here to help each other. And like, I have run into rough bunches in the Catholic world, before, and it's really hard to deal with that, especially today, because like you think you've learned a lesson after dealing with the same group of people after a certain amount of time, and just to find that you made the same mistake, trusting them again. But like at the end of the day, you just keep looking, keep talking to people, keep asking people questions, and you'll find out very quickly what kind of person they are if you stick around long enough. And like I never realized how much of a good friend Aaron was until we started working together, and then we started working on projects together, and that's and it does show a different side, and there is stress that happens, but then the capacity to learn from each other and willing to grow together is a really beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Alejandro, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story and talking about your work and your faith, and giving us a little secret technique that can help the other aspiring directors out there. We all live for those sorts of things. So thank you. I wish you the best. And the next talk has yet to be scheduled. I do have a couple people in mind to ask. I have not asked them yet. But we hope to continue to do these talks on a monthly basis, and just really bring different people from the community, and really have them share their story, talk about the profession, and give us a little secret tip that can help other people who on the same journey. So also, if anyone in the audience, if you are interested in being a presenter as yourself, it's open. Anyone in the group can present. So please contact myself or Michael, and we'll get you scheduled. So, all right.
Yeah.
Michael, you were going to say something?
Yeah, well, sorry to interrupt there, but I was saying, yeah, thanks to you for really taking the initiative and getting this series going after like a year of not having any events, which didn't make any sense at all, just from distraction and whatnot on my part. Like, we're kind of fulfilling each other's weaknesses, and so that's a good thing. And yeah, like just thinking how the community can all come together. We can help each other grow and help each other be most effective, more effective, and really fulfill that call God gave us. So yeah, if anybody watching is not in the community, just go to sacredheartchristiancreators.com and you'll be able to find the community and join this. And yes, thank you to everybody. We're still celebrating the feast day today. Or yesterday was Friday, Sacred Heart Day, but today is the Immaculate Heart. And
I wore
Mary's
my medal for you.
Heart. Yes, that's
good.
The reason the logo is the Immaculate Heart is because Mary leads people to Jesus, leads people to the Sacred Heart.
Amen.
So that's what we're trying to do.
Right. Well, Alejandro, I know you have to head out. Michael, if you want to stay on, and we can do if you have any like community announcements or anything like that, I would love to hear those from you. So,
can I say one last thing before I head out?
Absolutely.
Aaron, thank
you.
You
can say
so
two
much.
things too if you want.
Okay, two things. Aaron, I'll just say, like, you did a great job hosting. You have really great questions, and thank you for always being there, man. I mean, it's been great, honestly, and and anybody else who's listening to, let me just tell you, if you guys ever want to ask me for advice or just want to talk and be friends, that's awesome. I love people. I love working with people. So yeah, you can DM me anytime and we could just talk and have some coffee, virtual coffee, and yeah, have a good time. God bless you all.
All right. Thanks so much, Alejandro. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, thank you for coming on, Alejandro. We'll hope to see you again.
All right, Michael, announcements.
Yeah, I think this went wonderful. So we'll definitely have more events. We can kind of change up the format of the events and whatnot. Maybe have like a networking session or maybe a rosary live event. And so definitely stay tuned to all of that. If you go to the website, there's many places to like subscribe to the newsletter. And maybe I'll try to share these links on the platform if you're on there. And yeah, just stay involved. We'll continue to try to grow this community, this apostolate, putting out educational and entertaining content as well on YouTube, Substack. We're also on Facebook and LinkedIn. So yeah, lots of things to grow, many seeds, but hopefully they're growing up into some plants now. So thank you everybody for watching. And that's all I have to say. May God bless you all.
All right. Thank you all. Until next time.